on the suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light. Okay.
Now you're more fluent.
He got free!
Up, Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
You know, I normally get tired of intros. And anyone who's watched our show,
Right.
like back, I'm talking 3-4 years ago when we started, go back and watch. You'll see the different graphics, different intros, different music, different. What are you watching? But I like this one. I think this one might last. Like,
when you first did it, I was already on the hook. When you first did it, I was like, "Bet I'm feeling this." And I know how diabolical you are, Tone. I know that once you start messing around with some things and start putting some things together,
I've got other ones.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. So I was kind of reluctant to pick this one because I was like, I know how he get down, and I know he probably got like 3 or 4 of these that he put together. And if I said something, he'll probably put some more together because I know him. But when I saw this one, I was like,
leave this one.
I really like this one.
At least to the new year. At least to the new, because I
this one.
I know this. That's how I do. How's it going, man?
Yo, we in effect. We are in effect, man. Absolutely. We might be running a little bit behind schedule tonight, but hey, man, we got action.
It's not behind schedule. We're just on a different schedule.
That's all.
You know, and I'm gonna put it out right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. We're gonna see because I'm gonna give him 2 weeks. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna give him 2 weeks because I understand. I said 8 o'clock because typically we start at 8. But I did promote that we were starting late today. However, someone said, you want to debate live on this?
He won't show.
You want to name the time and place. So I did a video and I put it in the comments. See you there. You're right here. See you there. So we'll see if
he won't show.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to give anybody. I don't want to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. So here's what we're doing. Here's what we're doing today. You want to use? I don't know what list we're going to use, but we are going to get bang right to the point. We're at 2 topics. The first topic, I'll talk about in a second. The second topic is we're going to, as the title says, overrated, underrated, properly rated. Should I grab the hello from Vancouver? Salute. Should I take like the ESPN top 20 and go down the list?
Let's go down the list.
And we'll say, because really what we're doing is overrated, underrated, properly rated, and why do you think and I think that people rate these people a certain way? And listen to BTV and make sure you like the video. Absolutely. And become members. You don't even know this yet. We now have membership has its privileges. Become a member. Everyone who's in the level 1 will be put into a draw for some Sports Fluent and Chill, Chilltown Hoops merchandise.
We have good prizes too, guys. Real good.
Level 2, $100 a month. We're going to do a draw. Level 3, you get custom merch. So you can be like if your name is Bob debated Chilltown and won. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you get Little Miss Fluent in the building.
Hello, dear. Hi.
She can't hear you, but she's going to bed. Say goodnight, Unc.
Good night, Unc.
See you later.
Yes, we've all seen the horse you
How's school going?
How was your first day of school?
Good.
She wants to make sure you saw the horse that I made her.
I made it.
That you made me. Oh, I said I made you?
Yeah.
I meant that you made me. Oh, my bad.
You made that.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So before we get into the overrated, underrated, properly rated, I want to do. This is gonna be a tough debate for you, okay? But I think you can handle it. All time great. Dennis Rodman or Steph Curry?
All-time great.
Who do you have rated higher?
I have Curry rated higher than Dennis Rodman.
Oh, you're crazy.
I know I'm nuts to do that, but I do. I have Steph Curry rated higher than Dennis. And you know how I feel about the dirty work guy, Tone. You know how I feel about how important the dirty work guy is. But without the piano player, I mean, as important as the piano movers are, if we don't have a piano player, this thing doesn't work. But I also need the piano movers too. I do. So
you don't need them, but if you have to rank a player, and let me ask this: what if Steph had more blocks than Dennis Rodman in his career too?
He probably does. Because I just want to put this out there.
So why the hell is this a conversation?
It shouldn't be.
So why the hell is this a conversation?
It really shouldn't be. If I'm being honest with you, it really shouldn't be. If we doing this right here, and I know what the deal is with Caitlin Clark. And to be honest with you, if she looked like me and she was going up against Angel Reese, this wouldn't be a conversation. But everybody's got this issue with how she looks. And
can I pause you there and ask a question though? But no one has a problem with Sabrina Ionescu. No one has a problem with Kelsey Plum.
Right.
No one has a problem with Breanna Stewart. Breanna Stewart might be, in some people's minds, the best WNBA player ever. Why is she such a problem?
The reason why is because she came in with the fanfare. She came in with the hype. Breanna Stewart just came in as good as Breanna. Breanna Stewart I think she went to the Final Four every year she was in college.
Every year. Yeah,
she was in the finals every year. I think Maya Moore was in the national championship 3 or 4 years she was in college. I think they went to the Final Four at UConn 4 straight years. She did that. But Caitlin Clark coming into the game, the all-time leading scorer in Division I history, being in the national championship, being in the Final Four, and the fact that she's going to Middle America, that a lot of that matters. I don't think that we give this WNBA crew, I don't think that we give them enough credit for the marketing campaign that they have. So we got very much like what Larry Bird was to the NBA. We got the Middle American chick. We got the Middle American chick who can relate, who people can relate to in Indiana. Whether it's Indiana, whether it's Minnesota, all of these other places, they can relate to her because if you look at these arenas in the WNBA, just like in the NBA, the majority of them are filled up with people who look like Caitlin Clark, and they want to be able to relate to people. They want to be able to relate to her. Now, Tone, we got to clean up the roughing her up. I think that they called something like, I think she's responsible for like 10% of the flagrant fouls. Just her.
Did you see that? Did you see that one? Did you see that one where she runs her down from the baseline to the half court, knocks her over, and then sorry, like you beeline for her and dropped her shoulder.
Unbelievable.
Like, I actually prefer what's her name, Kennedy, who like owned it. Yeah, I knocked her down. So I'd rather you own it than sorry, come on. But this is ridiculous. And one of the stats that this doesn't show. Or two stats that it does show. I'll give you a good one and a bad one, so you don't think I'm biased, because I'm not. I'm looking at basketball. I look at nothing else but basketball. I don't care what either one looks like. I don't care what they do off the court. I don't care how cocky or arrogant either one is. However, one, do you know that Clark has a higher 3-point percentage, 33.7%.
Yep.
Than Angel Reese does, than she has on layups.
Unbelievable.
Imagine that.
So I shoot better from the long ball line than you shoot at the rim.
At the rim. Now, let's be clear. What she's doing, rebounding the ball, Angel Reese, is unprecedented. Like, there's games left, and she's already broken the single season rebounding record.
Not the rookie
record. The record for rebounds. Now, everyone's gonna say a lot of offensive rebounds because of all those misses, which is true. But even if you take those away, she's still leading the league in rebound. Like, what she's doing from a rebound perspective is unprecedented, phenomenal, amazing, should be admired, and it should be applauded.
Sure.
But when you're talking about one doing that, which is amazing, and another working her way into, she's not going to get it, nor should she, but worked her way into the MVP conversation, even though she has a pretty a flaw when it comes to turnovers. Like 5 turnovers a game is a lot. Like the next person is like at 3.
Right.
So she needs to clean that up.
Sure.
And it's funny, the narrative that has come out is, well, this isn't the best Angel Reese is going to be. Cool. That's great. Like I heard someone saying, you got to give her time to develop. Okay, but we're not talking about what they're going to be in 3 years. We're talking about right now who's the rookie of the year. And when you look at these 2 players strictly as players, as nothing else,
Right.
Caitlin Clark is significantly a better all around. Like, I mean, not even all around, a better player. The only thing she does better is rebound. Now, she does it better than anyone else in the league. That's amazing. Have you ever had this conversation in the NBA where it was, and I can only think of like imagine Dennis Rodman without the defense. Imagine Ben Wallace, just a rebounder. Like imagine just who are the greatest rebounders? Wilt, but he didn't score. Like he just like no one's having a conversation about a person who only rebounds in any other sport in any other era.
We didn't have this conversation, Tone, when DeAndre Jordan was cleaning glass in the league. We didn't. We did not talk about DeAndre Jordan like that when he was cleaning glass in the league. So, sure, she's got to clean up her turnovers.
Andre Drummond? Did Andre Drummond get any love when he was?
He was never considered a top 10 player ever. At any point in his career was he considered a top 10 player. And he made the All-Star team a couple times. And he led the league. Drummond was on his way to being a member of the 20,000 point, 20,000 rebound club. He was on his way to doing that before he left Detroit. With that being said, Angel Reese is doing something that's unprecedented right now. But she's got her flaws. She's going to get better. Well, Caitlin Clark, she's a turnover machine. Tony, I don't know if you noticed, but Jordan led the league in turnovers as a rookie. There was no other guy. He didn't lead rooks in turnovers. He didn't lead rooks in turnovers. He led the league in turnovers as a rookie. Yes, he did. 100%.
You know what? I did not know that.
Yes, he did. He led the league in turnovers as a rookie. So
like total or per game?
Yes. He led the league in turnovers as a rookie.
Rookie, I just want to make this clear. As a rookie, he not only led, because I knew that rookies. he led the league in scoring, like total points. He was number 1 as a rookie. I did not know he was number 1 in total.
Allen Iverson too. I don't know if
Allen Iverson. Yeah, I could see though.
Yeah,
that's surprising. That's interesting.
Yes, okay. Jordan. And with that being said, the other thing, Tone, is this is a little bit disingenuous from you because we're talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in 1 year. We can't talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in 1 year, but talk about Dennis and Steph Curry in totality. That's not fair, Tone.
Okay, fine. Take. But here's the thing, Steph wasn't that guy. Right. Steph wasn't this good in his rookie year.
Neither was Dennis.
You're right. Okay, so take Dennis Rodman's best year versus Steph Curry's best year.
Right. So Steph Curry's best year was,
or take their worst year versus their worst year. I don't know.
So 16. Steph Curry is considered the best offensive player in NBA history with his on-ball gravity and his off-ball gravity. But Dennis in '95, Tony averaged 19 rebounds a game in a big man league. He did do that.
Yeah, and it's impressive.
Yes.
And what do we say about him?
We really don't say nearly as much about him as to be honest with you, we should say way more about this than we do.
Let me ask you a question. This season going in, which leads us well into the overrated, underrated. Let's say Joel Embiid, let's say his everything else he does drops off. And all he does, he dominates. He breaks he averages 25 rebounds a game.
I know where you're going with this, Tone.
Averages 25 rebounds a game, breaks every NBA rebounding record, but his scoring drops to 10 points a game. He shoots 33% from the field. He shoots 30% on layups. All of the stats that you just saw, okay?
Right.
Now, keep in mind, people will say, it's an unfair comparison in terms of because Caitlin Clark is only averaging, I think it's 18 and a half points per game.
She's averaging almost 19 a game.
Yeah, but you got to realize that I think that makes her a top 10 scorer, top 20 scorer in the WNBA. So it's a little different. You can't, there's nobody scoring 30 points a game. So
by the way, Tone, that assist total that you got right here, that 8 assists. That's not just better than Angel Reese. She leads the league in assists.
Yes, I was going to get there.
I'm sorry.
So Reese does not shoot 49% of the rim. That is not true. That is not.
No,
true.
She doesn't.
So let's say he comes in, Joel Embiid comes in, and he dominates in rebounding, but his points per game is who's the other player? So
Giannis averages what 12 rebounds a game. Or how about Joker? Joker is second in the league in rebounds. He's pulling down 12 and a half.
Okay, so let's say these. Let's block out who this is. What if this was Joker, and he was putting up 13 and 12, and 38% from the field, 16% from three, and 70%, 73% from and this was Luka, and Luka scored 5 more points, led the league in assists, more steals, more blocks, significantly higher in every statistical category, and the 5 turnovers. Throw in the turnovers. Who's winning? And you had to pick one of them for MVP or Rookie of the Year, whatever category. Who's winning?
Of course, Luka would win, and it wouldn't be just off of this right here, Tone. And again, we're going back to how this is a bit skewed off the strength that there is no record of Angel Reese. This is her first pro basketball year. Joker been in the league for almost 10 years. So if Joker has that kind of fall off, people are going to ask, what the hell's wrong with Joker? Is he okay?
I know we got to look at it in a vacuum, as if it was just 1 year. Right?
Absolutely. So but to your point, this really, if we're going to stay here, this really shouldn't be a conversation, but it is, because the league is making Caitlin Clark one of the future faces of the league, but it's also doing the same thing with Angel Reese, and it's pitting them against each other, which is they're trying to boost revenue. They're trying to get more advertising, which boosts his revenue. They're trying to get more eyes on the game for the casual fan. That's what they're trying to do, which I can appreciate the effort in selling it. I don't like this right here. And the reason why I don't like this, because it takes away from the kind of player Angel Reese is going to become. The fact that she now has Cordosa, she moved to the 4. She's so much better at the 4 than she is at the 5, because she's not as big at the 5. Not only is she not as big at the 5, she doesn't finish around the rim. She can't defend 5s. Not only can she not defend 5s, she can't block shots like that. As opposed to when she's playing the 4, she's a much better dirty work person. Not only is she a much better dirty work woman, she also is better around the rim as a defender, because she's playing against women her size. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, who I'm on record saying in 3 years, 5 tops, Tone. 5 tops. But I'm saying in 3 years, Caitlin Clark's going to be the best league guard in the game. I'm not. I watch her.
I don't think it takes that long. But and I get it that they're doing the right thing, right? Because this league is in a place where, very much like the NBA was, right, going into 1979-80, that they needed help, right? They lose. WNBA loses money every single year. The NBA has to subsidize it, do all these things.
I did not know that. When you told me that, Tone, I did not know that this is a business that's subsidized, where every year we're not turning a profit on this. That was amazing to me when you told me that. I did not know.
And listen, and that's even with them going from $60 million to $200 million in revenue, right? Like they've more than doubled their revenue in the last few years, but they're still losing money. The new TV deal obviously is going to help, but they're smart. Pit the 2 stars that were coming out of college who were rivals, right? Pit them against each other to build up the brand. 100%. That's amazing. But I wouldn't, and they have to do it for the Rookie of the Year conversation. But statistically, this isn't close. And so, like I say, I would focus on, instead of this, because of what it's become when it's this uneven, focus on the positive. Focus on Angel Reese, maybe the league's greatest rebounder we've ever seen. Pump her up. That's why I laugh at guys like Batman who say we're putting down Reese to lift up Clark. We're not. This is statistical facts. Facts is not hate. Facts is not putting people down. People struggle with that very hard. So if I would focus on Angel Reese, listen, I hate to say it, she's very marketable. She's super pretty.
Yeah.
And she can rebound. Yes. Dennis Rodman, not so much, right? Like
Dennis was not as easy on the eyes as Angel Reese.
I love you, Dennis, but yeah,
no, he isn't.
Dennis, but no,
he
you know what I mean? So there's a lot of good things that are marketable to the game, and from a marketability standpoint. Like people hate having this conversation, but man, if you look good with a smile, that sure helps sell some tickets and merch. And just look, Just look. It's easy to buy merch there. Okay.
Help Magic. Yes, it did.
Magic's had them. I was gonna say million, but it could have been $1 billion smile if he signed that deal with Nike.
Yes, he did.
I
will tell you this, Tone. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
I will tell you this, Tone, because I know you. I've been around you long enough. There are things in sports talk that my man Tone despises. He can't handle it. With that being said, Tone, if I see a co-rookie of the year, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm telling you that. I'm going to flip out. I can't handle that. Pick one and stick with him.
That would be so disingenuous.
Please don't do that. I'm going to flip out. I'm telling you that right now. I'm going to lose my mind.
So let's be clear. You can go back. I have it pinned on my TikTok. When Angel Reese did this and did this, and they were like, what a classless act. I was the first one. The first one that defended her, right? Go look. It got 1 million views. I pinned it because anything with 1 million views, I like to pin. Duh. I was the first one defending her. So this isn't a knock on Angel Reese. Like I said, if you knock off who these two players are and you just look at their game and the numbers, and you remember about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, some people on ESPN, who are, of course, driving this narrative, were saying, well, you got to pick Angel Reese because the team record matters. And Chicago was ahead of Indiana. I haven't heard anything from them right now because Indiana's way ahead of Chicago now.
Yes, crickets. Can't hear anything.
It's exactly. Yeah, now they've all disappeared. So that's all I'm saying is I think, we're in this world where debate and put people down, and I've never, listen, fact is one thing because people say, me, you hate LeBron James. I don't hate LeBron James.
No, he doesn't.
Although I do bring up some statistical facts that people don't like because it gets a lot of views. But also because it's true and people don't, it's the truth. And but if again, I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but someone said to me, how come you never disprove the JJ Barea locked up LeBron in 2011 finals? And I said, because no one ever asked me to. And he said, well, I'm asking. Cool. I posted a video and did it. No problem. If you ask, if you're not sure about something, ask me. I'll do. So it has
fluent. He's here to make you more fluent. That's why he's here. Hello.
So I have no hate towards Angel Reese. I've told you how I feel about Angel Reese.
Yes.
But as a basketball player today, right now, okay, not what they're gonna be, because you're right, they're gonna become something else. Caitlin Clark's just better.
And what she's produced, this season as a rookie, as opposed to what Angel Reese has produced this season as a rookie, Caitlin Clark has had a better rookie season. I am not one of these people who subscribes to the idea that, like when I saw Jason Kidd and when I saw Jason Kidd in Grant Hill with the co-rookies of the year, I'm like, okay, essentially what you're telling people is that we did the same thing. No, we didn't. Yeah. One of us did something better than the other.
That's a cop-out.
That's all it is. We did not do the same thing this season. That's you guys not having enough cojones to pick somebody. That's all that is. And I will not stand for that with these two. Whether it's Angel Reese, whether it's Caitlin Clark, it's not going to be, well, it's both of them. So we can't choose between one of them. Yes, you can. You have to pick somebody.
You have to pick. And you know what? Let me just quickly say this, because this is absurd. A'ja Wilson is the MVP and the best player in the WNBA, period. No discussion. No discussion. So if they're trying to compare, ESPN be saying this last month that Clark is MVP over. No. Listen, they got to make a show, but
I've never heard her name. Tone, I have not heard her name in the league MVP talks. I have not. I'd be lying if I said I had.
It's started to creep up after the All-Star break, after the Olympic break, excuse me,
right?
Because of the way that she's played after the Olympic break. She's like, oh, thanks for the break. She's looked fantastic.
Right.
But she's even with her, it's 5 turnovers per game. Even with the 5 turnovers per game, she's the rookie of the year, and A'ja Wilson is the MVP. I think both of them running away, they should be. And it's not J-Man. Sorry, just for clarity. No, Indiana is 5 games 5 games ahead of Chicago in the standings. So you should get your facts straight. Now you're more fluent.
Go do your homework. Get it correct.
So yeah, so that and you know who's actually the most underrated player in the WNBA? And I'm going to say her name wrong, so I apologize because you know how I am.
I think I know who you're about to say. Is it Rickea?
You know who? Can you say her name?
Rickea Jackson.
No. Her name is why is she not here? Arike. Can you say it? I'm so sorry.
Oh my god!
I don't want to butcher it because it's unfair to her. Oh look, we lost Chill. It was so bad. Wow. We knocked him right out of the.
My fault.
We knocked you right out of the shows. You fault. Said it. Yes,
I do know how to say it.
Yes.
Agambawule.
Sorry.
Agambawule.
She is the most disrespected WNBA player.
Agambawale.
She is so good. For anyone who watches, she is so good. And no one even Agambawale. There you go. Thank you. I think Brett sent it to us. This is how you need to send me names. Send them phonetically, or else I can't say. I've told you all this. I'll say it again quickly, and then we got to move on. I've known Mrs. Fluent since we were 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She has a long 13-something letter Greek last name. She still laughs at me to this day because I can't say it.
Tone can barely say his own last name.
I can't say my own.
Tone has a difficult time saying his own last name.
Listen, if this is true, I'll pull this up. I don't know if this is true. I hope it is true. But Arike Ogombawale means the god of iron returns home. Wow, that makes it even better. That's it. And so offensively, she is wow. She's so good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Quit it. 5 turnovers is bad. Yes, 5 turnovers is bad, but look at all the good. She also leads her assist to turnover ratio is still, I believe, the best in the league.
Still
even
positive.
With 5 turnovers a game, right? It's 8.5 to 5. Yeah. So there you have it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull up the ESPN. This is why everybody's here. I'm gonna pull up. Don't forget to send in your super chats, become members. Like the video, share the video, ask down by the river where you at. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull up ESPN's top 20. We'll see how many we can get through, because the moral of the story, the show today, stop interrupting me, is overrated, underrated, properly rated.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to see ESPN's top 20.
Yep. And this is going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. This is going to be real interesting because I think we're going to ruffle some feathers here. Me in particular, because I know how you guys are when it comes to me. I think I'm going to ruffle some feathers, unfortunately.
All right, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Because I feel like I'm always the one that. Well, we'll see.
Well, you're a troll, Tone, so everybody knows that about you.
I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at the top 5. And I already see one that you're gonna lose your mind. All right. And so here's what we're talking about. We're talking about, are they based on ESPN's ranking? Are they overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
Right.
And then why people would kind of rank them where they do. Mm-hmm. Do you want to start at 10 and work our way down, or start at 1 and work our way?
Let's start at the top.
Let's start at the top. All right.
Let's start at the top and work our way down.
Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Point guard, Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic is overrated. He is not the best player in the NBA. No, he isn't. Mm-mm. He is overrated. Now, that means that I hate Luka. That means that I don't like Luka.
Now, let me be clear. This is going into next season. Right. Should I go back and look at last year's rankings to see what they?
We can stay right here. Okay. We could definitely stay right here. But Luka, going into the season, he is not the best player on the planet. Is he arguably the best player on the planet? Yes, I think he's in that conversation, but I don't think that he is the best player in the NBA. I do think that from an offensive standpoint, with the exception of Joker, I don't think that there are many better than him. And in addition to that, I think he scores the basketball easier than anybody else in the league. But when I think about what Joker does on the defensive side of the basketball, a lot of people say Joker doesn't play defense. Yes, he does. He's just not as good as it as everybody else. But the effort is there. Rebounding is there. And I had a conversation earlier today, Tone, which drives me nuts, where I have some people who separate rebounding from defense. Like, wait a minute. How can you do that? You can't separate rebounding from defense.
Can I ask you a question?
You
use rebounding in defense.
Yep.
As do I.
Yep.
But I separate offensive and defensive rebounding. Do you do the same, or do you include all rebounding?
I include all rebounding. I think that
offensive rebounding is a plus on the defensive end?
No, offensive rebounding is a plus on the offensive end. Okay. Offense is a negative.
Because I'll tell you, when I do my evaluations of players, right? Like I'll use the most common one. Right. Jordan and LeBron. And I go through and so the way I look at all comparisons is I do their regular stats, their advanced stats. I look at their accolades. I look at obviously eye test, intangibles. Like I break it down. There's like 12 different categories, and in each category there's like 10 things. So on the offensive side, right, I look at scoring, I look at assists, I look at passing, I look at playmaking, I look at what you guys call now gravity. I look at, but one of the regular stats, right, is offensive rebounds,
right? And
everyone's like, well, and Jordan gets the tick mark because he more offensive rebounding than LeBron. And everyone's like, why do you break it up? And I'm like, because it's a very different skill. It's a very different mindset. It's a very different thing to get an offensive rebound and a defensive rebound. They're two very, very different things. And I think defensive rebounding, to your point, why I brought this up, is defensive rebounding goes to defense.
Sure.
And offensive rebounding is an offensive skill. So that's why I asked, because do you look at someone and say, oh, the 11 rebounds a game, or do you pull it out and say, oh, 7 rebounds a game? And not that anyone has 4 offensive rebounds a game, but
the reason why I think about,
do you break that out or no?
No, I think that offensive rebounding, again, it's demoralizing to the defense, and it's a negative on the defense, and it's a positive on the offense. But I think about defensive rebounding. We actually had this conversation earlier today. I think about defensive rebounding. It was equated to football. Defensive rebounding is the third quarter. Is third down. If we don't get this stop on third down, what they do is now they get it's 3rd and 6, Tone, and you get a quick out, and on that 3rd and 6, he catches the ball. We're trying to actually get the ball back so we could get the momentum, or we need to score. That 3rd and 6, now they get a new set of downs. Well, Tone shoots the basketball. If we don't get the rebound, whether it's a bunch of us underneath the bucket or it's just me underneath the bucket, they get the ball back, they get another opportunity to score. That's a part of our defense to stop them from scoring. And how do we stop them from scoring? We got to secure the rebound. If we don't do that, then that's a negative on us. It has to be.
All right. So we got Luka. You got Luka overrated.
I do.
How overrated? Is he in your top 5, top 10, top 20?
So I don't think he's the best player in the league, but I don't know if there's 3 players in the game better than him today.
Okay, so he's slightly overrated.
Slightly overrated.
Slightly. It's like a spot or 2. Okay. Number 2, center, the Denver Nuggets, a second international player, Nikola Jokic.
I think Jokic I think he's underrated. I think he's the best player in the NBA. For everything that Joker does for the Denver Nuggets, the fact that he's in his peak years, these last 3 years are his peak years, he's became the best player on the planet. I don't think he's criminally underrated, because it's not like he's at 7 or 8. No. At 2, I think he's slightly underrated. I think he's the best player in the league.
I'll agree with Luka. I forgot. I don't know if I said what I believe. Luka is slightly overrated, because I'm with you. He's top 3. So I don't think he's 1. Nikola Jokic for me is 2. So I have him properly rated, because I think I think we're going to see this reoccurring theme for the most part.
Yep.
Is that people look at offense.
Yes, they do.
They don't give a damn about defense. And so all we're really doing is comparing offensive players, which I think isn't good. But so be it.
Right.
So Jokic is
you think he's properly rated?
I think he's properly rated. Yeah.
I think
you think he's 1, I think he's 2. So again, now we're really, people are gonna go nuts, but it's like, okay, overrated. What do you mean? Oh, he's off by 1, right? It's not, but that's technically slightly overrated. We're not saying we're not saying he's garbage. Number 3. You might lose your mind on a couple of these now that I think about it. Number 3, another international player. Where are the American basketball players?
They coming.
Number 3, point guard, Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA.
I think
number
he's overrated.
3.
I think he's overrated. I don't think that he's done enough to be considered the 3rd best. If we're going off of, they're clearly projecting. They're clearly projecting, and the idea is he's probably going to win the league MVP. They're going to go deep into the playoffs, so he's going to move up in the rankings. I don't think that he's. I don't think that he's that high. There are some things in SGA's game. Not only are there some things in his game, there's also some things that Oklahoma City has to fix in order for these guys to get to the NBA championship. They're not a lock to get to the NBA championship in the Western Conference. That's not a lock. And I think SGA, as a bucket getter, I won't argue that. He's a fantastic bucket getter, how shifty he is. He's got one of the best mid-range games in the game. He doesn't play above the rim, but he's really good at the rim. He's money from the stripe. And he's actually a really good defender, too. So I think he's elite. Top 3? Nope. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's criminally overrated, but I do think that he's overrated.
Do you have an extra room for me to stay in, right? Because I might get thrown out of Canada tonight because I'm like wearing my Toronto, Canada hoodie, and I'm about to say that my Canadian is grossly overrated. Like he's not top 5 for me. And I love SGA. Please don't get me wrong. I love SGA, but he's not top 5. So to be 3, when we're talking about 1 or 2 spots, I think he's like 5 spots too high. So I know this means SGA, you're not going to come on the show like you said you might.
I'm cool, dude. Tone. Now when you said grossly overrated, where are we with SGA in your estimation? Because I'm
like 5
good.
Spots.
Wow. Because I'm good with 5 or 6. Anywhere between 5 and 6, I'm cool with those 2 spots. I'm not going lower than 6. I didn't go as far as 8. No, I did not go that far.
I got him at 8. It's number 4.
Yeah.
Now, actually, I have him over this guy. I don't know. Maybe I don't. But this is a gross projection. Like it's definitely like not what have you done, but what we think you're going to become. Because they've got Victor Wembanyama at number 4.
Damn. So Vic, wow. Vic comes into the now. Tone, I was going to speak about this. The projection that he's going to be the defensive player of the year this year, and there's also projection that he's going to be the most improved player. That's the most improved. That's a pretty big deal. Tone, we've seen in the past what the defensive player of the year, what it looks like. Rudy Gobert, Minnesota, best defense in the league. Year before that, Jaren Jackson, top 3 defense. Marcus Smart, best defensive team in the league. Rudy Gobert in 21, best defensive team in the league. That's a theme. So if that's true, San Antonio is going to be one of the top 5 best defenses in the league. In fact, Tone, I went back 30 years, only 2 guys, Marcus Camby and Dikembe Mutombo, who did not finish in the top 10 in defensive player of the year. Their teams were not in the top 10 in defensive player of the year. These are the only 2 guys. Everybody else, they've been in the top 3 to 5. Lonzo Mourning was the only one who wasn't in the top 5, but his team was in the top 10. So what you're telling me, if Wemby's going to be the defensive player of the year, that means that his team is going to be much better defensively. And if that means his team is going to be much better defensively, that means that they are going to be much better. They're going to be much better as a unit. So if they're going to be much better as a unit, he's a top 5 player. Are they a lock to be a playoff team in a Western Conference? I think that's putting a lot on it. Wemby is definitely overrated.
Wemby is slightly overrated.
Mm.
Wemby will be in your top 7 by season's end. Wemby will be your defensive player of the year. Wemby will finish, as will the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby will finish top 5 in MVP votes. The Spurs will finish top 5 in the West. They'll be fighting for that last home court in the first round of the playoffs.
They're going to be hosting a playoff series.
They're going to be fighting for it, top 5.
Right.
So they're going to be 4 or 5. So they're going to be fighting to host a playoff series with the 5th highest MVP vote getter, the defensive player of the year, a definite top 10, if not top 5 ranked defense in the league. Wemby still, though, slightly, because I got him 7. I don't have
him in the top 10, Tone. I'll be lying to you if I said I did.
He will be 7 this year, assuming he does what I said he couldn't do, which is stay healthy.
I do not have him.
That was, remember, my only knock. I said he's going to be a bust because he won't stay healthy. He stays healthy, he's there. And just so you know, we're now at 4, and we've gone Slovenia, Serbia, not in that order, maybe Canada. France.
Where are the Americans at?
Not at number 5, because at number 5, Ofilos Muaptinelada de Malaga, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That was for my people who said, they said Fluent looks Greek. You're damn right I am. Giannis Antetokounmpo is number 5.
I think he's definitely underrated. At number 5, number 5, I think he's underrated. Tony, I think he's the second best player on the planet. I don't think he's a good player. I think he's number 2.
So you have him and Joker over Luka.
Yes, I do. I do have him both of them. I think this is a season where, even though I don't think Milwaukee's winning the NBA championship. I don't. But I do think that Giannis, I think he comes back this season. I think he comes back with a vengeance. He wasn't able to play in the playoffs. That does worry me. That non-contact injury worries me, Tone. I'm not gonna lie about that. That calves and your heart. Those are the 2 things that worry me the most when we're talking about injuries. So him having that non-contact injury, that did worry me. But I saw him in the Olympics. He looked healthy. He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He looked fantastic. I think this season, I expect 29 to 31. I expect 12, 13 rebounds. I expect an all-league defensive performance this year, and I expect Milwaukee to be a top 5 seed in the East. I 100% believe Giannis is a top 2 player in the world. Now, the indictment papers are out, Tone, because missed the playoffs, and then the year before that, they got bounced in round 1 as the number 1 overall seed. So the indictment papers are out. We haven't filed them yet, but they've definitely been issued. If I get one more year of Giannis where whether he gets injured and he's not able to play in the playoffs or he gets bounced in round 1, yep, we got to reshuffle that list. Yes, we do.
I'll say he's slightly underrated. Again, I'm going by my rankings versus theirs. I have him at number 4. I think the reason he's at number 5 is because Mr. Antetokounmpo, try to say it correctly because everyone in the chat is correcting me. Because I think they look at what you said, non-contact injury, been injured the last couple of years in the playoffs, is his health, because of the way that he plays, has his health now become just going to be a reoccurring theme? So can he be that consistent, player that we saw, a couple of years ago? And I think that's the only thing that holds him back. So when we talk about why, people would have him ranked below some other guys, I think it has more to do with they don't feel he's going to be healthy. But to your point, he looked great in the Olympics. He looks healthy. He obviously works on his fitness. Mind your business. I'm working on my fitness. Thanks, Lizzo. So yeah, so I think slightly because I have him at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 out of the top 5. You might lose your mind. Jason Tatum.
I think he's slightly underrated. I have Jason Tatum as the top 5 player. I had him at 4. The fact that he had improved every year. I mean, his scoring went down this season, but I don't think that was enough for him to completely for these guys that are in the top 5 to just jump him, considering what he was in years past. For those guys to just jump him, and his team won the NBA championship, that was largely due to him. He was the leading scorer and the leading rebounder on that team. They won the NBA championship. They did everything that the majority of the people said that they couldn't do because they had failed in years past. So his jump shot kind of abandoned him early in the playoffs. He started shooting it a little bit better as the playoffs went on, but he also did a lot of the other things that made not just his crew better, made him better. And I think that he proved that he could win. With him proving that he could win, I think that was a big deal. I think Jason Tatum is a top 5 player in the NBA.
So they have him at 6.
Yeah.
How high would you put him? So is it grossly underrated or just
4.
slight? You have him at 4. Okay.
4.
So he's underrated. I'm gonna go. I don't think this is like a hot take. I think we've seen the best of Jason Tatum. Every year, you and I, and we've been having this conversation for 3 years. Every year, you and I are waiting for him to take the next step, take the next step, take the next step, take the next step as a player. I don't think there's another step for him to take. I think this is who he is. He's a little bit inconsistent. He can be dominant, but he can also disappear.
Mm-hmm.
He's happy. Like his mentality, unfortunate, and this is unfortunate. I'm sorry. His mentality sometimes seems like he's okay taking the backseat, playing second fiddle at times. And that's what I think holds him back from being as good of a player, as dominant of a player as he could be. And that's okay. That's not a knock on him. It's just who he is. And just some people are like that. To be a top 10, top 5 player with that mentality says a lot about him. I think he's properly rated because I have him just outside of the top 5.
So Tone, figure this
just
out.
On top of the top.
You know how I feel about a player in year 5. You really know how I feel about a player in year 5. Jason Tatum is going into year 7. Last year, he was 27 and 8. Just so you know, Tone, in year 5, he was 26 and 7. You might be right, Tone. This might be just who he is.
This who he is. And that's not bad.
No. If I could get, he's 26 years old. If I could get 5 or 6 more years at 27 and 8, if I could get 5 more years of that, I'm taking that every day.
100%.
I'm taking that every day. And if this is who he is, and maybe if that 27 and he was just a little bit more efficient, I think that would look even better. But this is kind of who I thought he would. I don't think he's a 30, 32 a game guy. I don't think that, Tone. I think that he's anywhere between a 26, 28, a 7 and 9 rebound guy. That's who he is.
And here's the thing, right? Like you've already said, Joker, Giannis, Luka. Like there's 3 guys already you have ahead of him. Mm-hmm. So the best he is 4,
mm-hmm.
right? So me saying 6, I don't think it's crazy to say he's and I mean, so close. He might be 5, but I just currently have him at 6 because I have a very controversial number 1, and I know I have a very controversial number 1, which is crazy that it's controversial. But so I have him properly rated. I have him properly rated. Number 7. I just, other than health, I don't know that this guy's a flaw in his game. Offensive, defensive, inside, outside. Like, how is he the 7th best player other than, well, his availability sometimes is in question, but you can't project. You can't, or you shouldn't, in my opinion, project health, right? That's why I'm telling you what I'm saying about Wemby. I'm assuming you're going to be healthy and play 70+ games.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid is number 7. Now, do we consider Joel Embiid, just to be clear, do we now consider him a U.S. player or a foreign player?
He's always going to be a foreign player for me. He's from Cameroon. He's from Cameroon.
He's already said in the next Olympics he's probably not playing for Team USA again.
He's from Cameroon. He's African.
So
just like Olajuwon was African.
I just want to put this other. This is 6 out of 7.
Yeah.
Only one.
To be honest with you, Tone, I don't hate it. I don't. I don't have. I had him at 6. I had SGA at 5. I got him at 6. If you got him at 7, I don't hate it. I don't know if I want to go as far as 7, but I don't hate it. And the reason why I don't hate it is because I'm thinking about what he does and how he affects the game in the regular season, how much better he is than a lot of other guys, and how it just fizzles in the playoffs. And winning matters. And not only does winning matters, making deep runs in the playoffs and you being ridiculously effective. I can appreciate how good Joel Embiid is when he's playing in the playoffs. Even when he's hurt, he's still really damn good. I won't argue that. He's still really damn good. However, a lot of this is contingent on him being able to hold up, because if I'm injured, that affects my game. That affects my mobility. That affects my mentality, because I don't really feel like I can do as much as if my knee didn't hurt this much. I could still play, but if my knee didn't hurt this much, boy, I would give you guys the business. On top of that, watching Joel Embiid being able to process the defense, watching Joel Embiid as a jump shooter, watching him handle the basketball. He's somewhat of a ball stopper. The ball doesn't really move that much with him. I don't hate it, but I think about guys like David Robinson. Like what was David Robinson? What was the logic on David Robinson when he was coming up and he couldn't get out the second round? Was David Robinson a top 5 player in the league? You could definitely make that argument.
I think you can make that argument.
Yeah, you could definitely make that argument. So if you got Joel Embiid anywhere between 5 and 6, I don't got a problem with that. I ain't going no lower than 6. I'm not going to 7, but I don't hate it.
I think he's underrated. I don't see how. Now he might be 5, but I don't see how he's out of the top 5. That's like end by 2. And I don't disagree with you on playoff success mattering. However, when I look at most of these other guys who've made deep runs, I feel, listen, I've told you from the beginning, the process failed.
You think it failed years ago, Tony?
I've been out. I think the team that they had, although still flawed, when they had Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, like that crew.
That was 19. That was 6 years ago, Tony.
That was 6 years ago. That crew needed to stick together. Who has he been? And please don't tell me James Harden, because you all think it's MVP Houston Rockets James Harden. No. You love Tyrese Maxey more than I like Tyrese Maxey. He's your number 2? No. Like, they haven't really given him, all these players talk about help. They haven't put look, don't even say, oh, this star player, they haven't put a team around him that makes sense for what his strengths and his weaknesses are. And so a lot, and he's in the East. He probably should be making deeper playoff runs. He fizzles, but also at the same time, he has to carry, I think, a bigger load as a center than almost everybody else.
Can Joel Embiid be the best player in the game, Tone?
I think he could be if he was healthy. Just watch. Picture. No, let me go back. If he's healthy,
yep,
he's the best. What is his why I have my guy at number 1? I say because he's the only guy that we're going to get to him. I'm sure. Well, we might not actually. Why I have my guy number 1 is because I say he has no flaws in his game. Right. The only thing you can knock him is he's not what he used to be, but he's still less flawed than every other player. With the exception of availability, which I get it. It's right. What is Joel Embiid's flaw in the like playing basketball? What is his flaw?
I don't think he processes defenses fast enough, and I think he's a ball stop, and he plays on the perimeter a little bit too much for me as a big.
Now, he plays on the perimeter. Is that him saying, I don't want to play inside? Is it scheme? Is it
I think it's
NBA?
a
Is it
combination of both.
NBA the way the NBA is today, right?
They don't play on the block nearly as much. They don't. And I think that he could go back to utilizing that.
Yeah, and so I would say that, yes, he still gets some of the blame for it, but I think it has a lot to do with coaching, and it has to do with the scheme, and it has to do with the NBA that we play in. And, you know, why are his rebound numbers not as good as they could be? Well, it's because they're asking him to, you know, draw out the defense and open it up because that's how we play. Whereas when you have a guy like him, it's like, well, no, let's make everybody else adjust to us, which I agree with you. I wish they would have done. So I really don't think he has a like fatal, like, okay, he's not perfect. I'm not suggesting but there isn't, that's the thing. You're like, oh, he just can't do that. He stinks. Right.
So from a talent standpoint, I think he's good enough to take Philadelphia to the NBA championship. I think he's that good.
I think so.
I just think he's made of glass. That's my problem.
And that's I think the knock on him. And that's the knock.
So
I have him top 5. We have 7 minutes left. To round out the top 10, I don't know. Do you want me to just give you the names? Do you want to invite people up? Do you want to
give me the names, Tone? Let's hear it.
Here's the 3 names. Number 8, Anthony Davis. Number 9, Domantas Sabonis. Number 10, Anthony Edwards.
The NBA has Domantas Sabonis in the top 10.
Not the NBA. This is we pulled up.
I'm sorry. The ESPN has Domantas Sabonis as a top 10 player before the season ends. Wow. I am not going that far. I definitely think he's way overrated. Anthony Davis at 8. I do think that he could be a bit underrated, Tone. I think that he may be. I think if you had him at 7, I wouldn't take an issue with that. I'm not going lower than 8. And he's in the same. I always felt like he was in the same category with Joel Embiid, but he disproved that this season. He was in the top 10 in the league in minutes. So there is no more that. Now, maybe it's a fluke because my man Tony Tone over here, right? My man Tony Tone over here coined him day to day. That's what my man did. So I think we might have to scrap that. We may have to scrap that. So
yeah, I'm super high on Ant. I think Ant is, again, this year going to be a top 10 player. I think he saw what he could do in the playoffs, and then he saw what he couldn't do in the playoffs. I think he went and had a very good Olympic experience, which I think a lot of players who are like him, meaning hungry, aggressive, right, confident players, come back from that experience better. So I think he comes back better, and I think he was working on those things that he needs to work on. So I think he's top 10. I think Anthony Davis and Sabonis, I think that's ludicrous to have them in the top 10. So those two are severely overrated.
Today, Tone, today, a year ago, where is Wemby going into this season? Going into the 23-24 season, where is Wemby?
Last year?
We're going into it's September the 3rd, 2023. Where is Wemby going into the season?
As a rookie, he's probably not ranked top 50. Like,
how the hell he's a rookie? How the hell we go from that to top 5?
Because
how did we get there?
I don't have him top 5, but I think you have to see. For again, this is me. Where he was probably ranked top 25. Going into
last season?
By other people,
by other entities, sure. Now, yeah, Tony,
I would have said nothing because I got to see. And I say this about every rookie, right? I've said this about every rookie ever. I need to see how they play against NBA talent before I can judge them, because when I see them against college guys, when I see them against G Leaguers, when I see them against international guys playing a different style, a different way, right? Like you never listen. Again, I use this because it's easy for people to comprehend. Who's my favorite college basketball player?
Who is your favorite college basketball player? Who is it? Oh shit, it was Magic.
No, college.
Oh, in college. I'm sorry. Your favorite college basketball player.
Played on the same team. in the pros.
Oh, James Worthy. I'm sorry. Yes,
James Worthy. I knew you knew it. You gotta remember.
It was James Worthy.
Okay. So James Worthy is my favorite player.
Yes, he is.
When I'm watching James Worthy at UNC, he is the best player on the team. Now there's a skinny freshman kid who looked all right, but
we don't know who he is yet.
I can't judge him. I can't.
Yeah, we don't know.
No one looked at that kid and was like, "Oh, he's going to be the greatest." Like when his career is done, right? Forget the debate for a second. When his career was done, was there a debate who the best player ever was?
In '98, when Jordan hung him up, that was it. It was official that he was the GOAT.
Yes. Period. Mm-hmm. So you don't. So that's why I say you don't know until you see them.
Right.
You don't know until you see them.
With that being said, Tone, this time last year, going into the season, my man Tony Tone is Anthony Edwards a top 20 player. We're in September of 2023. We're going into the season. Is Anthony Edwards a top 20 player?
Borderline.
So
top,
legit,
but top 25. Top 25.
I was about to say, so he's legit a top 25 player going into the 2023 season.
Yes.
23-24 season. And we go from that to now he's on the back end of the top 10. Bona fide. I think he's
now let's be clear. If I said ranked right now, he's maybe 14, 13.
That's what
we're projecting, right?
Yes.
We're projecting. So yes, right now he's out of the top 10. If you said right now rank them, but if we say, hey, as the season progresses, where you think he's going to be, and that's why I say I think you're going to see guys like, I think having a veteran point guard in San Antonio is going to really, really help, right? Like they're going to push him to be better. I think, like I said, Ant is going to come out just like gangbusters. That's why I am projecting, these guys and saying this is what I think. Healthy. I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I would have get the lottery numbers. I'd take care of all of y'all. See how I am? I don't say I take care of myself. I said I take care of all of y'all.
I got what you need. I got you.
Yeah, I got you. So that's what I'm saying. Projecting. Yes, I am projecting.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We have 1 minute left.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1 minute left. Is there anything that you want to get off your mind after this?
Oh, I don't think you've been here before if you don't think I'll accept. Absolutely. Tuesdays, 8 until 10 p.m. We're always live on Sports Fluent YouTube and Chilltown Hoops YouTube. Fluent and Chill, we always allow fans to come on and debate us on any topic. Thanks for the follow.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at, Brody?
No, I knew.
Where you at, Brody?
I knew it. I knew he wouldn't show. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I knew it.
Well, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, I knew he wouldn't show, and I'm not surprised that he didn't show at all. So that doesn't surprise me at all. I would have liked to have seen him show up because, I mean, if you really got
let's you and I debate the topic. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan never win a championship without Phil Jackson. He gets 100% of the credit.
Wait, what? Did I hear that right? No.
100%. Yeah. Well, they never won without him.
Right.
And I said, he never won without them. And he said, well, he won in the CBA.
I don't know if I'm understanding this. I want to make sure that this didn't go over my head. Jordan and Bryant never won without Phil.
So
Phil gets 100% of the credit.
Correct.
No.
So by that logic, of course, Pop gets all the titles for Timmy.
Pat Riley gets all the credit for Magic. He never won without.
No. His rookie season, Pat Riley was not the head coach.
Oh, Pat Riley did win. I mean, I'm not Pat Riley. He was the assistant. Yeah, he was the assistant. That's it. That is correct. Yes, he was. So I guess Pop gets all the credit for Tim Duncan. I guess Casey Jones. Nope, Casey Jones was not the head coach in '81, so that's not what happened.
There's been a few.
I don't know, Tone.
How many players? Bird? Did Bird have the same coach?
No, he had Fitch in '81, and then he had KC Jones for the other two.
And KC over there. Okay.
It's now. Hold on, Tone. Okay, sure. When you get a new coach, he implements a new system, and you got to buy into that system. I won't argue that because the triangle was revolutionary. No doubt about it, Tone. The triangle offense was revolutionary. You got to buy into it. If you do, this is going to work, and this is evidence of it. Jordan, he bought into it. You saw what happened. Kobe Bryant, they buy into it. You see what happens. Okay, sure. Yeah. But I do need guys to run this, though, Tone. This isn't like I can – because we saw the Dallas Mavericks try to run the triangle offense in '94, and they was on their way to the worst record in NBA history with Quinn Buckner as the head coach.
Yeah. And the Knicks, when Phil was the GM of the Knicks, remember he brought in like Vinny Del Negro, Derek Fisher, everybody to try and run it. Couldn't work.
No,
Carmelo could not. Carmelo's not smart enough to run the triangle.
Same thing with the Lakers in 2004. Gary Payton had a difficult time trying to run a triangle. He couldn't get it down. No.
It's tough.
Not as simple as you think.
Chuck Daly. I guess Chuck Daly gets all the credit for the Pistons. Those like for Isaiah Thomas and
Zeke never won without Chuck Daly.
Rudy Tomjanovich. I guess Hakeem never wins a title without Rudy T. So it's interesting. No. Shaq gets away with it because he had Phil for 3 and Pat Riley for 1. So.
Yes, he did. So
that's a pretty good team. It's a pretty good lineup of coaches. We'll end on this question. All jokes aside. How much does coaching, like how much value do you put in coaching versus players, like when it comes to winning?
I put a lot of value in coaching because I think that there's a lot of guys in the league today that don't know exactly how to play basketball, and they need to be managed in addition to being coached. And a lot of these guys.
But the head coach isn't the one that does that.
Right. But you need to surround the head coach with those guys. So that's a part of coaching. And
remember Steve Nash said, I think he only talked to his players like 30 minutes a week.
First and foremost, Steve Nash was talked into that job. He didn't even want the job. He got talked into that job. So let's be I think Steve Nash was a bad example. But coaching definitely goes into how these guys develop, how much better these guys are, because if they aren't receptive to coaching, then you have situations like you had in Houston with Silas, where the inmates were running the asylum. It was a zoo down there, Tone. They had no idea what they were doing. And then Ime Udoka comes in with this young crew the next year, and they're battling for a playing spot. So coaching definitely matters.
Yeah, but they also see that's why it's so tough, though, right? Like this dude used the same example. He said, "Well, look at the Lakers, right? Couldn't do anything. Then they get Phil, bam, they win a chip." Yeah, but hold on. Kobe is 18 years old, coming off the bench. The first year that he's a starter is a strike-shortened season, and he has 3 different head coaches. And so when Phil gets there, he's in year 4. He's had 1 year as a starter, and he's in year 4. He's now 22. He's matured. He understands the game. He's been playing with Shaq for 4 years. They understand each other. They bring in a couple of other players. All the young players have become 1 year more mature and understanding each other, and the new players they come in are veterans who understand the system. So yes, the coach matters, but it's not instantaneous. Like Jordan's the other example, because he said Jordan and Pitt, right? Well, hold on. What did the Bulls do with Doug Collins his final year? Who did they lose to in the playoffs?
They lost to the Pistons in the East Finals in '89.
And then Phil Jackson takes over, and who do they lose to in the playoffs?
The same team in the conference finals.
You know that there's people that would have fired Phil Jackson after that and said, well, heck, Doug Collins had 0 coaching experience and he lost to the Pistons. You lost to the Pistons too.
Why are we talking about Phil, Tone? That crew doesn't stay together. Scotty's gone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If that's today. If that's today, that crew, Scotty and Jordan aren't who we say that.
Yeah, they're not going to work together.
Nope.
Yeah, he can't handle a headache.
Yes.
He's out. Yeah, let's trade him.
Scotty's gone. Yes, Scotty's gone. No doubt about it. Bill Cartwright's gone too.
Yeah, he's old. You gotta get rid of him.
Cartwright's gone too. So yes, that crew is not what we see today. No.
And that's what I'm saying. So yes, you have to value coaching because it matters. Yep. But I'm telling you right now, and I guess look, we'll never know. That's really and that's all I always say, by the way, right? Like, let's be clear. I don't say yes or no. I don't say yes, the Bulls definitely would have won with a different coach. What I'm saying is we don't know. We never got to see, right? Would Jordan have ever won a title without Pippen? Well, he never did. It's factual. He never won without Pippen.
Right.
Does that mean he never would have won with anybody else? The honest answer is don't know. Don't know. He didn't.
We don't.
But we never saw him in his prime years with another player. Like we never got to see it.
Let's kill that whole Trailblazer thing. Scottie Pippen was in year 12 at that point. He was.
Oh yeah, with the Trailblazers. Yeah.
Give me a break.
Well, and the Rockets, even with the Rockets. But if it was Pippen, well, why didn't he carry them?
Years old.
Why didn't he carry them? And they say, oh well, he didn't. He played 3 years. One of those years he was injured and only played 17 games. So we never got to see, right? Just it's like me saying LeBron never would have won if he stayed in Cleveland.
We don't know that.
Don't know that. He might have won.
Yeah.
But the reality is I can say it. I can say it pretty confidently because I don't believe in Cleveland's head office. They never would have put the right team around him, and he always would have lost. Well, we don't know factually. And that's all I always say is we don't. I say you can have your opinion, and it's fine. I'm just saying I don't know. And so
that Celtic team was getting old, Tone, and the East was turning around. So he would eventually won. Well, we don't know that.
And that's why I say with the coaching thing, I've seen, and again, when I see Magic with basically the same, and this is what works for and against this argument. I saw Magic win with different coaches. Heck, he had 2 different coaches in the same seasons multiple times. Now, granted, one had a horrific bicycle accident, but I saw him win with.
I would have loved to have seen that too, by the way.
With Westhead, I saw him win with Riley. Like I saw him win with different head coaches. I've seen LeBron win titles with different head coaches. So the logic is winning with different head coaches versus winning with the same one. I think they both have their positives and their negatives because winning with a different coach, the positive is, well, it's a different voice. And sometimes you have to hear that different voice and they teach you different things and they might get you to play a different way, which throws the other people off. Winning with the same coach, well, you get to understand them, but it also becomes, it's the same thing unless they adapt. I'll tell you right now, I think the Raptors make those same moves. They keep Dwayne Casey. I still think they win the NBA title. I don't think it was Nick Nurse that put them over the top. I think it was Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard that put them over the top. Tell me I'm wrong. You could. We'll never know, but
right.
Coach of the year, defensive mind. Who do you think trained Nick Nurse? It was Dwayne Casey.
Correct.
He was his assistant. So, anyways, that's how we end the day, and the show.
Yep.
And
we will see you guys. I
got nothing. I got nothing left.
We will definitely see you guys soon. You guys know where to find us. We were a little bit behind schedule tonight, but on Tuesday nights we are here at 8:00. Normally, and we will be back at 8:00, and we will see you guys next week here at 8:00, and we will have some good stuff to talk about. But until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother. Well, last time you talked to your mother, call your mother. We will talk to you soon, but until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man.
I need to call my mom.
Call your mother, Tone.
I do.
Call your mother, Tone.
I need
Absolutely call your mother, Tone. Oh my God.
I'm out.